Scoopy and Reg here at the normal spot here at Equal Space here in Newark, New Jersey. I am Brandon Scoopy Robinson here with the one and only Reginald Calixt.
The illest intro of all time. Shout out to our sponsors over at Catalyst Case. You wanna introduce the guest, or I mean, you're on a roll with the intros today, so I'm gonna let you do it.
Oh man, hey, this guy is he's kind of a legend. No, you are a legend. You are a legend.
Make me sound old, man. Come on, don't.
You're a young
on
legend.
your way to being a legend. On your way.
If you guys are
Scoop, you're a legend too, man. I mean, your work speaks for itself, man.
Listen, man, we're all growing, but this is about you today.
All right, let's go.
We got a guy that is, if you guys know, the last 10 years, a song that probably changed his life, Chicken Noodle Soup. Then you know who DJ Webstar is, the voice of Harlem.
Yeah.
Here on Scoop and Reg today. What's going on, sir?
I'm here, man. I'm just here, man. Appreciate you having me, man. It means a lot that you bring me up here, man. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, man. About time you got me, though.
Yeah, man. Me and you been on and off the phone the last few months.
Absolutely, man. I was just telling I was telling one of my best friends, man, how, I crank crawl all my friends. I joke around. I was telling her I crank crawls you like 11:30 at night one night.
This is a story?
Oh, yeah, this is a story.
Rich Paul.
Yeah, so mind you, me and Scoop, he had gave me his number a few days prior. I ain't call him right away. And it was a lot of things going on with Scoop be ahead of the curve on a lot of current events.
He's told me some shit.
He be knowing things before they happen. So I like to play jokes with my friends. So he knew about the Space Jam thing with LeBron James before they really announced it. I don't know how he knew. He might have been having dinner with LeBron. I don't know what he was doing, but he knew about it. So he was talking about it a little bit. So I called him like 11:45 at night. He sounded like he had a silk robe on. Like he had an eye mask on. He said it was a number he didn't know because I never had him. And he was like, "Hey, hello, who's this?" I'm like, "Hey, this is Rich Paul." I said, "I see that article you put up there." And they got quiet. And he said, "Who is this?" But I had him for about 30 seconds though.
Yeah.
I had him for about 30 seconds. It was really funny, man. And ever since that day, me and him just been like we knew each other from back in the days, but we were back in contact, and we here now.
And we played in that celebrity game over at in the Bronx over at Orchard Beach.
Absolutely, we did. Yeah,
bro,
we did. That was 2 summers ago.
You're definitely not gonna smooth and act like it just
what
happened. Like you didn't even address what happened on your end on the phone.
He was like Charles Barkley. He would get the rebound and go right back over there, right back down the court. He had about 4 good runs in him. Then he had to sit out. Then he come back in. Shout to Edgar. Shout to Hoops in the Sun. Shout to Edgar, Burgos. They put that event together. That was dope, man. It was really good.
It was lit. But yeah, man, you Reg, we had to. This is an episode that's definitely worth having. And when you talk about culture, man, he's definitely part of it. I remember being in college, as your mother's calling your phone now. Being in college, and I was in school in Pennsylvania. And
what school you went to?
I went to a small school called Eastern University, which is on the main line down the street from Villanova University, King of Prussia Mall area. Yeah. And when Chicken Noodle Soup came out, I felt like you were introducing what we already saw to a whole new grand audience.
I mean, I guess they say music, when having success with music is about talent, it's about finding the right sound, but it's about a little bit of luck too. But they say the harder you work, the luckier you are. So it was a bunch of people doing what I was doing. I think I just came at the right time and I had the right energy, and it just worked out for me.
I remember because I went to St. Peter's in Jersey City, and I remember being on campus. I feel like you was down there. I was just about to say that.
Did Keidrick Clark go there?
Yeah.
There?
Kiki.
Kiki. Yeah.
I have a long story about Kiki.
He's the all-time leading scorer there, right?
Yeah.
Not Kiki, do you love me?
No. Keidrick Clark.
Keidrick Clark. He was right high school.
Shout out Kiki. This nigga always made me look bad. So peep game, right? I dated Kiki's girlfriend's best friend.
You sound like some Chico DeBar's cousin of mama's best friend. Okay, go ahead.
Nah, just hear me out. So I dated Kiki's girlfriend's best friend. So Kiki, after St. Peter's, I think he ran around with Knicks for a bit. Then he played overseas.
Yeah.
This nigga's always caked up. Keep in mind, I'm in college, right? we going out to the club, nigga buying bottles. I'm like, come on, nigga, you making me, you killing me right now.
That's how it be, man.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah, but Kiki's like, he's a really great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Scoopy and Reg in studio with DJ Webstar, who produced Chicken Noodle Soup. Help me understand something. It went gold.
Yeah.
It was on the Webstar Presents caught in the web.
Yeah.
Help me understand something. I'm always interested in the creative process of a song. I talked to Too Short, and he told me about what it was like in between sets, taping stuff and seeing like Beanie Siegel. He said Beanie Siegel was like watching Beanie Siegel reminded him so much of watching Biggie. The process of recording Chicken Noodle Soup. Take me through the creative process. How long? Who was there? How did it start?
So Scoop, this is really ironic because I know you're like us, like your thing is sports. Like not too many people I know in this world know more about sports, especially basketball, than you know.
Right.
And I always said entertainment and sports go hand in hand together. You know what I'm saying? I mean, music and sports, excuse me.
Right.
So, because basketball is entertainment. So, how it happened was I was doing parties when I was a kid. And I was just doing parties, trying to make some money to get popular DJing. And I started getting thousands of kids that come to see me. So, I wanted to, it's crazy. We was talking about how Kiki showed you up with the girl because all the drug dealer kids. I never sold drugs when I was younger. Well, I mean at that age, and all the drug dealer kids used to have all the girls.
Right.
So I had to figure out a way to get in with the girls.
Get in the mix, yeah.
So I started doing parties. Then I started doing music. So as I was doing music, I wasn't doing music to make money. I didn't care about the money. I was if I could buy some Jordans and I could have some sweatsuits and I could get my mama a little bit of money, I was happy. I didn't understand the concept of making money and saving money. I was just happy being fresh. So I ended up making this record. My first record I made was Tone Wop. We went crazy in the streets. But it was a CeeLo Green and Timberland beat. Whoa. Which I couldn't get cleared or nothing like that. Then I made Chicken Noodle Soup. I ended up getting a record deal like right away. But the process behind, so let me just say how it worked out. It was a little girl named Bianca Dupree. Y'all know her as Young B, or Bianca from Love and Hip Hop. I put her on the record because I loved her voice. It was a basketball tournament, and this is where the sports come in at.
Kingdom?
Called Kingdom.
Yes, sir.
So I come from Harlem, you know what I'm saying? So Harlem is the home of street basketball. Yeah. Rucker tournament is probably the most legendary street basketball tournament ever made. It will never be another Rucker.
Agreed.
I was too young to go, but back in the day, it used to be like, I think the tournament started at 6 o'clock. People used to be online at 1 o'clock to get in around the corner. So you had, like Kobe Bryant played there, Bill Clinton went there, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, they all played up there. Obama went up there, Michael Jordan went up there. It's the mecca of, I'm just trying to give you the extent. So, every time you have something, it's always something to come after it. Kingdom came after it. Now, let me just tell you what Kingdom was. Kingdom was a basketball tournament, but it was in the middle of one of the worst projects in all of Harlem. So, it was a guy...
Taft?
Huh?
Taft?
Well, Taft was across the street. It was Forster.
Yeah.
So, Forster and Taft was right next to each other. It was a guy named AG. They call him the Voice of Harlem. AG. He was doing the mic at the game. So what I did was I took Bianca because we had the parties. I took the Voice of Harlem because he was the commentator at the basketball game, and I put him on the record. Now, the reason I put him on the record was because he had a distinctive voice, but also it was the biggest tournament in the country. So any day, you have 4,000 people out there watching people play basketball. And if he was on the record, they would play it over and over and over and over again. And that's what happened. So let's go. So we go to the studio. Me and Bianca wrote the record together. AG came. I just told him, I said, yo, get in there and just do your ad-libs and scream like you was at the basketball tournament. So we did that. I put it together. It sounded great. We took it to Kingdom the next day, and they played the record about 5,000 times. And from there, but you got to remember, these tournaments it was like Dame Dash. It was Jay-Z. He had Procast. It was Rockefeller. It was Beanie Siegel, how you just named. It was all the executives from the record label. So when all these executives from the record labels just come into this tournament and they playing my record and they see everybody dancing and doing it just went crazy. And I ended up getting like $1 million deal off the rip. And then like the rest is just history. But the money is good. Money is good, but just the process of doing something that changes the culture or the world, or it's just amazing. So that's the process of that.
Scoopy and Reg. I am Brandon Scoopy Robinson, sitting with DJ Webstar, Reginald Calix across from me, looking at my ugly mug. I want to take a step back for a second. I remember the blackout.
Yes.
The blackout is the reason why Pee Wee Kirkland couldn't imagine this. His dudes didn't have to play to win the championship.
Yes.
Were you at Rucker Park during the blackout?
No, but I was too young to go, but I'm very familiar with the story.
If I'm not mistaken, it was Jay-Z's S. Carter team.
Versus Fat Joe's team.
Who was on Jay's team and who was on Fat Joe's team? Do you remember?
So Fat Joe's team was coached by Mousy.
Okay.
Now, here's an interesting story. Stephon Marbury, this was when he was in his prime, he was on Fat Joe's team. A couple of months before that game, Jay-Z dissed Marbury in a record.
Don't run off me at Marbury at the light. You may lose your life.
Yeah, he said, don't run up on me like Marbury at the light. Run up on me, you can lose your life.
The bar.
So Marbury was so good. Marbury was so good at the street ball thing because street ball and professional ball is two different things.
Yeah.
You got to know how to play both. Marbury was good at both. Marbury used to play in Rucker with low-cut white Uptowns on.
Yeah.
And give a nigga 50. Excuse my language. I don't know if I can.
Nah,
it's one of my favorite words off
you
camera.
Yeah. You give a nigga 50. So, I can't remember everybody who was on the team right now. It was so long ago. But Marbury was on the team. LeBron James was sitting on the bench. Jermaine O'Neal. I want to say Catino Mobley. I want to say he just had Marbury was running laps around Rucker Park. So the story I get from numerous amount of people I know that was there was Jay-Z is very strategic. He's very smart. He make very smart moves. He don't put himself in a position where he thinks he's going to lose.
Sure.
When he seen who Fat Joe and Mousy had at that tournament, they didn't get off the bus. That's what happened. They didn't get off the bus.
So it's like it's gonna be a bad luck. So just cancel the shit.
They didn't get off the bus. They lost by forfeit. If I'm not mistaken, I think LeBron was with Jay, but he wasn't gonna play. He was on the bench, but he had Fat Joe had an NBA All-Star team for Rucker championship. He had it, and Jay had a few good players, two NBA players, but he just couldn't compete with what Fat Joe had. But it was he A Butter, Future. He had the creme de la creme of the NBA and the creme de la creme of the street ball. Shout out to all the street ball legends that was there that day, and that was legendary stuff right there. School, were you there?
I wasn't.
Damn, School.
I was in school.
Yeah, I was probably somewhere there too.
But I mean, just all of the stuff. I mean, the blackout was around that time.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think my dude Jamal Crawford was playing as well. Hope he gets signed.
Yes. Why haven't, real quick, I know we're talking about this, off record, just off topic for 1 second. Why, and you might not want to answer this because I know you got your ties and you can't really talk about everything. But why hasn't Jamal Crawford and Carmelo Anthony got signed yet?
Carmelo is politics.
Yeah.
Carmelo, it's difficult when, you're 35 years old, your resume is top notch, and you're expected to come off the bench, and your resume is better than the people who are starting. And I think
teams probably just don't want to deal with that.
But what sucks is, you look at the Pistons team last year that was an 8th seed and went to the playoffs against a 1 seed in Milwaukee.
They could have used Carmelo.
They could have used him. I mean, Blake Griffin wasn't playing. Then you look at a team like the Los Angeles Lakers. I think if he signs with the Lakers, it's a situation where does he play a ton of minutes?
He's not going to play. He gets 17 minutes a game the most.
And then you look at Brooklyn. Sean Marks, who's the general manager.
They probably won't sign him now.
They're not going to sign him because they're very particular. I can tell you last year, Enes Kanter, former Knick, was cut or was waived.
Yeah.
And, there were talks that he could have signed with the Nets. And I can tell you that, there was interest, but the Nets did not want him because Sean Marks, who comes from the San Antonio Spurs system under Popovich, they're very stoic.
It's very disciplined. It's a very disciplined.
Very stoic. Very, very much like playing for the Patriots.
Yeah.
And so they don't want that drama.
Yeah.
So when you look at Carmelo Anthony, I think it's a situation where, they have one roster spot. They have been waiting for Andre Iguodala. Defensively, can do some things that maybe Melo can't do.
Vince Carter gonna play one more season, right?
He's playing one more season with the Atlanta Hawks.
He got the Hawks.
Yeah.
You got Jamal Crawford.
Jamal Crawford still free agent. Have talked to Jamal off and on.
He's going to get picked up for sure. Jamal don't have no politics. He's an ultimate team player.
I would like to see him on a contender.
He can still. He's the microwave. He can light you up.
39 years old. The ageless wonder.
I want to see him on a contender too. I think he might even be good for Golden State.
Dwayne Wade told me that last month. He told me he wants to see Jamal Crawford play for a contender. Yeah. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So I wanted to go back to something because I'm
sorry, Reg.
I'm curious. I know y'all good.
Yeah.
Like I actually was curious about the Carmelo thing. Like, so that was actually a dope question.
Yeah.
To go back to the whole $1 million question, not to even count your money or anything. Yeah. So the curiosity is, I've watched a ton of shows like, how the lottery ruined your life and so on and so forth. To go from a kid who didn't care about money, just getting fresh, so on and so forth, to being like a millionaire overnight, what was that transition like?
Reg, I grew up in a studio apartment with 5 people. I don't want to ever hear anybody say the lotto ruined my life.
Yeah. It's have you ever watched the show?
No, I don't want to watch that show.
Nah, it's fucked some people.
All right, let me just tell you something. Yeah. Money don't come with instructions.
Yeah.
When you never had money, there's no way for you to know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. So this is like if a kid come from the projects. I didn't come from the project, but I might as well because my block was a drug-infested block. I was very, we lived in the studio. It was me, my mom, my dad, and 2 brothers. We actually got upgraded to a 1-bedroom, but it's still 5 of us, and we thought we made it then. Mm-hmm. So, I made a lot of mistakes. Like, when I got my money, I got my mama a crib. That's the first thing anybody do that get money, I think, most of the time. They get their mama a crib. Got my mama a crib. Besides that, I didn't do nothing positive with my money. I went to strip clubs every day. I went shopping every day with all my friends. I bought jewelry that, cars and stuff that depreciates, nothing that appreciates. And I ran through maybe like almost $1.7 million in less than a year. And I was lucky enough to get another record deal and get it back and figure out how to do it. But what if I didn't? I would have. Yeah. That's how people, one of the biggest things in this country is depression and suicide. I was depressed. Yeah, bro. I was devastated.
Most people wouldn't have the balls to like just come out and have that conversation.
No, it don't come with instructions. So it's just like. Like in a school system, I don't mean to go off topic. I'm being quick so we can talk about it.
No. I want to talk about this.
But in the school systems, they teach our kids and us when we was coming up everything that we ain't never gonna need in life. I ain't never gonna need. Why I gotta know about history? Like, when am I gonna need this in life? Teach me how to invest my money. Teach me how to save my money. Teach me how to start a business. You could work for somebody and get fired, or you could create your own business and make millions of dollars or work or be self-employed. They don't teach you that. Mm-hmm. It's a system in place that's meant to keep people working for somebody else. Yeah. The country, like we are, like what percent are we in the country? I don't want to give the wrong number, but we are a small percentage in this country. Yeah. Most people of our race work for people. More people will have jobs and have their own businesses. So I think if they teach us if you get money, how to save it, how to invest it, about the stock market, about different things, I think it'll be better. I never had that. I was just always a hustler, so I always knew how to get money. But when you get money, that's 20% of it. The other 80% is when you get the money, what to do with it.
So what's your mother's reaction to you just, I'm a millionaire, Ma, like I'm buying you a house?
First of all, my family is very religious. They was Jehovah's Witness. So my family was telling me, get a job. This ain't gonna work. They made me volunteer at a nursing home for a few months. The record came out, popped off. My first check was $425,000. I said, "Hey, mommy, here's $150K. Go down to Atlanta and you find you something nice and cozy. Houses in Atlanta, you can live like a king out there." Yeah.
Did she do it?
Yeah, she did it. She's still there to this day.
Praise God.
So shout out to my mom and all that. She was calling me actually while we was just here. I couldn't pick up because we doing this, but. It's like, a lot of times in life, it's like a catch-22. You got to know. Everybody say, listen to your parents, listen to your mentor, listen to people older than you. They're going to give you the right advice. But at the end of the day, Do what
they
you
live
know
in
you
a
can
different
do.
world.
Do what you want to do. Can't nobody make a decision for you. Can't nobody tell you how to if it's going to work or if it's not going to work. Guess why? Guess why? Because if you knew, Scoop, what was going to make $1 billion tomorrow, or if he knew what was going to make $1 billion tomorrow, you wouldn't tell me. I would just be doing it yourselves. Yeah. Nobody know what's going to work. So that's why when I make music, I don't let nobody tell me, oh, this is whack, or this don't sound good. Because can't nobody, it's an independent
people
world.
Are stupid.
Yeah, people are stupid.
And people like project onto you. So people will basically be like, well, I can't do this shit.
100%.
So, I mean, of course you can't do it.
My grandma used to tell me, well, your uncle, I had an uncle named Hud. I had a cousin named Huddy Six. He was popular from Harlem. He passed away.
Huddy Combs?
Yeah, Huddy
Combs.
That's
your uncle?
No, that's my cousin. His father is my uncle.
Wow.
That's my first cousin.
Huddy Combs.
100%. So his father name is William Hudson. That's my uncle. And he used to sing back in the day. Yeah. And he never made it big, but he used to sing on cruises and little lounges and stuff like that. And my grandma just be like, Hud never made it. He been tell you he gonna make it for years. He over there singing on the lounge on Littis, getting $50. You know what I'm saying? Right. But you know that don't mean it's gonna happen for me. So when it happened for me, it's like these kids from Korea. We was talking about this off air. Named BTS.
I heard of them. They perform K-pop. Across the street. They're huge.
They the biggest.
I hate when
they're the biggest group in the world.
Bro.
They bigger than Beyonce. They the biggest group in the world. They
traffic stops.
They're
bigger than Beyonce.
They're bigger than Beyonce
globally, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you met them?
Never. So they sampled my record.
Chicken Noodle Soup.
BTS is fucking massive, bro.
They sampled Chicken Noodle Soup. They made it a challenge.
Not only did they sample it, they took the whole record. And I'm extremely excited about this, Scoop. Like, seriously.
Did they reach out to you?
Hey, listen. Hey, listen, let me just say something, man. Them guys are great. They're doing a great job. And we're figuring things out now. But the record is really huge. They got 50 million views on YouTube in 4 days.
Whoa.
Which is amazing.
Christ.
It's 120, as of yesterday, 127 million people who did the challenge on Triller. It's the #1 trending record on iTunes. It's amazing, and it's something I created like 12 or 13 years ago.
Still influencing
and
culture.
They're doing it over again, and I feel like the game has changed because when you think about samples, like I don't want to feel like Cameo or Frankie Beverly and Maze to the new generation. You know what I'm saying? You think
I mean, they sample shit from like 2 years ago.
I know that
so
the game that changed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like back in the days when you sampled the person's record, that person was out the game.
Yeah.
But they sampling people records who are still in the game right now.
But you gotta look at it like we consume music differently too. You used to sit with an album.
You know why? Because we didn't have access to music like how they. I can go on my phone right now and get any record in the world. Yeah. Guess what I can do? I can hook my phone up to whatever system you have here, and I can record a record from this microphone. Yeah. Back in the day, it was a process. You had to go to a big studio. You had to get it mixed. You had to get it mastered. Yeah. You had to go to Radio Shack or one of these big companies that sold records. Mm-hmm. You had to go out and physically buy it. Mm-hmm. If you got access to something 24 hours a day, you're going to just listen to it for a couple of weeks or a month. Like the lifespan of a record. Mm-hmm. I'll give you an example. Have you ever heard of a record called The Benjamins?
All About the Benjamins?
All About the Benjamins. Yeah. P. Diddy, Biggie, Little Kim, Deluxe. Yeah. That record was on radio for 15 months.
That's crazy.
Straight. But
it's hard to imagine that.
But Cardi B had a record called Bodak Yellow, which was the #1 record in the country. And it was on radio for 5 months. Or 6 months. And even less than that. So records have a lifespan of like 60 days, 2 months. Back in the days, records was on the radio for a year.
It's the digital presence that has shifted.
100%.
And people now
because you can hear it more digitally. Like you can hear it on your phone when you're in your house. Yeah. When you're on the back in the days, you had one CD. So either you had that CD in your house or you had it in your car. Mm-hmm. If you left your house, you can't hear it. If you left your car, you can't hear it. Mm-hmm. Now you can have your phone. You can plug when you go home. You hook your phone up to your Bluetooth. Mm-hmm. You're in your car. You hook your phone up to your Bluetooth. Mm-hmm. When you're in the gym, you hook your phone up to your Bluetooth. Now you're hearing this record 15 times a day. Mm-hmm. When before you could hear this 3, 4 times a day. It's just access to music.
And then it changed the game in a way I feel like too, where people have this instant gratification feel. It's like I understand the process because, I came up. I remember one of my favorite albums. Like, I went to the store and bought The Massacre 50, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And I
2005.
I sat with that album for a week. I opened the cover. I lived with that album.
100%. You read the credits.
Exactly.
They might have had a poster and you might have put it on your wall.
It was an experience. I sat there. I listened to the disc. I analyzed it, listened, went back again.
Yeah.
Now it's
but now these kids have their different version of experience because you had no idea what 50 Cent was like on a day-to-day basis. So let's just say this. Your only connection with him was reading what was on the album, seeing him on TRL or 106 Park and seeing his videos. You had no idea what he was like in real life. Now, let's say an artist like, let's just say Drake. You can go on his Instagram and his live story and you see how he lives, what he likes to eat, where he goes. You see it.
His friends say,
that was our version of what they got.
But then what I'm saying is like the lifespan of the album, someone will listen to an album and be like, dope, when you dropping the next one.
Yeah.
Like you just dropped it, like when's the next one?
Because you say you live with that project.
Yeah.
Why would I live with a project right now if I can get another project tomorrow and the next day and the next day?
There's so much music out here too. It's just
too much.
I feel like I can't keep up with everything.
You can't. Back in the days, it was 5 ways to hear music. Like, I'm talking about our generation. You had TV, which was like 106 Park and MTV, and BZ MTV. You had the magazine, Source, XXL. You had the radio. Then you had concerts. There was no other way to see your artists. Now you can see everything right here on your phone.
True.
Every single day. So the content that you're seeing the same content over and over for months. You seeing different content every day. I can see what Diddy's doing right now. I can just go to his live and see he's in his house dancing and sweeping up and cleaning up.
Is that scary to you that people have that much access to you?
Yeah, it is because, if you was on drugs or if you was, no disrespect, because I love gay. Some of my best friends is gay. If you were gay or you were on drugs or if you was into a certain kind of thing, nobody never knew. Unless you got in trouble. Nowadays, it's like they know every single thing you do. There's no privacy.
Yeah.
Like, look at the kid, Nas X, right? Little Nas X, right? He came out as being a homosexual, right? You know how many singers and rappers was homosexuals growing up back in the days that just never was exposed because it was frowned upon? But they really were.
He came out and told people though, right?
100%, but
different era.
Yeah.
But he kind of had to because you get tired of hiding in the dark sometimes, man. You on Instagram, you out with people, you want to bring your boyfriend outside, whatever you want to do, people going to see it. Back in the day, they just say, and I don't want to say this right now because this is my favorite actor. It was rumors that Eddie Murphy was gay.
Yeah, I heard
They said he was sleeping with Johnny Gill.
What? I never heard that.
See, you got to do your research on music. It's deep. But nobody ever had proof of this. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have proof that these people was doing this thing.
So if there's camera phones and all that other type of stuff,
100%. They could have been in the club doing whatever they wanted to do with back in the day. No, who's going to see it? You had to have a physical camera to take a picture of somebody back in the day. You couldn't
disposable camera.
And you wasn't rolling up on nobody. I can record
this whole interview right now. Y'all wouldn't even know it because my phone is just right here in my hand. Back in the day, you had to have a camera to do it. So people was just doing whatever they wanted to do. So it's a different day and age.
Scoopy and Reg in studio in Newark, New Jersey at Equal Space. Shout out to Catalyst Case for being the loyal sponsor to the podcast. Webb, you dropped Chicken Noodle Soup in 2006. That went RIAA Gold. Was on the Webstar Presents Caught in the Web album. You coupled that in 2009 with Dancing on Me with Jim Jones and Joel Santana. Jim had a big year in 2005 and 2006 as you were having a good year with Chicken Noodle Soup.
He did balling. We actually did the African American Day Parade together. Me, Jim Jones, and Max B and Bianca. Jim had a really big year in it. And we ended up collaborating on a project. We both from Harlem. He's a little older than me. And we decided to do it. We had another Dancing on Me actually just went gold. And it was just a great time. It's just, just being creative, working with people who you look up to. It's nothing like, it's like you, bro. Like, I'm sorry, excuse me.
It's all good.
Like, who's your favorite like NBA analyst of all time?
People. It would be Broussard, it would be Stephen A.
Cool. So, I mean, you grew up watching Stephen A. and Broussard, so it's just like, imagine, of course they respect you now because you do such an amazing job, but before they knew who you were, the first time you met them and they give you acknowledgement and your respect, and when you feel like you feel like a new man, you know what I'm saying? So that's the same way I grew up on Dipset. I grew up on Cam and Jim and Mason. So when Jim called me to get on my record, it was just like, hell yeah, let's do this shit right now. You know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes the acknowledgement and the love you get is more important than the money, because you can always get money and you can always get opportunities, but love is rare.
Joel Santana,
yes,
and Jim both have the experience of being on Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah,
you weren't on Love and Hip Hop.
I filmed briefly. I wasn't a main cast member. I filmed for like a half a season.
How does someone? You look at Cardi B. She was able to leverage her brand. She was a social media personality before she was on Love and Hip Hop, and now obviously the music thing took off.
Yeah.
Before Cardi, was it fathomable for someone to use reality TV to like better themselves? Jim did it in his own way, but he did it after music.
I can give you like 3 examples right now. So it depends on what you want to do. So let's use somebody like Omarion. Omarion's a superstar. He was down with B2K. He had international success. Mm-hmm. But after a while, he cooled down.
Right.
He did Love and Hip Hop. He did a record called Supposed to Be. It was Chris Brown and Janelle Aiko on the record. He filmed it on Love and Hip Hop. The process of the studio ended up having another number one record after he ain't having a number one record in years. It worked for him. Look at somebody like K. Michelle, who was around for years and didn't have a lot of success. Love and Hip Hop gave it a success. Look at somebody like Peter Guns. Peter Guns was out the game since 94.
Yeah.
When he came on Love and Hip Hop, it gave him another platform. It might not be Cardi B's success, but once you get to a certain age, once you're 40 and you can provide for your family, you can make you a couple of $100,000, $1 million a year, that's a certain level of success. So it depends what you're going after. It's a hit or miss. It's like anything in life, bro. It's like you just never know. It's like, what's the kid? LeVar Ball's son, Melo. LaMelo Ball. Mm-hmm. He went over to, he's killing them over there. Have you seen his games? Yeah. He's killing them over there. But guess what? Let's say he go over there and get his ass bust. He gonna be sick. He went over there and killed him. It's like you taking a risk. It's a hit or miss. If you go out there and you kill, you do a great job. If you go out there and get your ass bust and raise your stock down, they talking about he could possibly be the number one pick in the draft.
And when you look at LaMelo Ball, the thing about it is, and I've said this in my writing, Brandon Jennings set that foundation for that international situation. Of course he did, because he didn't want to go to college.
Yeah.
And I think that with Brandon Jennings kind of taking that route to Italy, part of it was grades. He went to Oak Hill, and then, the SAT scores and some of the other variables didn't match up, and he took his game to Italy. Yeah. I actually think Italy saved his career because I think sometimes college can make you lazy when you're a high school prep standout and then you go to the NBA. Yeah.
But a lot of these kids get a free route through college, man. You a star, you bringing in a certain amount of money into the university, they're going to make sure you good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Once you, like, if you a kid that's a one-off, you don't really need grades. You don't need college. Like,
would you guys?
You don't need a degree. You about to make $800 million in your career, probably, especially with the way they make money now. So it's just like everything is politics right now, I think.
What do you guys think about that new law they passed in California?
I think it's great.
Allows players to get paid.
I think it's great because anytime you listen. Did you hear the interview that Draymond Green just did, Scoop? And he said the NCAA is a dictatorship.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's 100% right. They make all these money off these kids and they likeness, and these kids is broke. Remember Jameis Winston when he went, he had no money
crab
to eat,
legs,
and he went and sold some crab legs
at Publix.
Yeah,
and they crucified them.
Publix is lit, by the way.
But guess what? Publix is lit, definitely. We ain't got one in New York, but it's lit.
Yes,
yes, Florida. But guess what? It was Jameis Winston. He went number 1, didn't he?
Yeah.
Come on. Number 1 pick in the draft, make all that money. His jersey sells everything. Everybody was going to the school to see him. They buying tickets. They buying hot dogs. They buying sodas. They buying cotton candy. They coming to game after game after game. And they spending all this money. The university making all this money off of him. He can't even buy some $10 crab legs.
crab legs, man.
And the thing that's crazy is you think about the players who don't make it to the league. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. The ones who made all the money for the college, but they don't make it to the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's sort of like the one time I could have capitalized off my name, it's gone.
It's a slippery slope. I remember when I was in college and we would be playing. Me and my roommates.
You stole some catfish?
Huh?
You look like you stole some catfish back in the day. I'm fucking with you.
That is definitely a drum line. Like remember when the guy was cooking catfish on his hot plate and drum line? But no, I think when you look at Madden, or even not taking a step back, when you look at NCAA, the NCAA college basketball game, they discontinued it because of the guys wanting money off their name. And then, you look at Ed O'Bannon, and you look at the situation with Ed O'Bannon where, he sued the NCAA.
Did he win?
Yeah. That was where it kind of just started.
How much did he win,
That I don't know. Don't quote me.
Ed O'Bannon, he went back.
Ed O'Bannon, that's
and a lot of those amounts end up undisclosed because they don't want everybody coming back around trying to,
Yeah. But I think that when you look at just the track record of just, the college basketball game, you can't even really enjoy it because they know that, they're capitalizing off of people's names, jerseys and jersey sales and things of that sort. And then you look at Tim Tebow when he said on First Take to Stephen A. Smith that he was honored, to have his name. It wasn't about the money. And then you look at Stephen A. said this on Hebrew in the Morning recently, with African Americans.
Tim Tebow ain't from the hood.
There's a level of
it's different, bro. Tim Tebow family have money already. Tim Tebow ain't from the hood. He don't know what it feel like to eat pork and beans and Franks or ramen noodles or to have sugar water. He don't know what it feels like. So yeah, you're on it, but when you're struggling every day and you don't know how you gonna feed your family or how you gonna make money, or maybe I don't go to the league, what I'm gonna do? And these people is making all this money off you. What about the people that don't go to the league, like you say? Let's say you in NCAA and these people is making all this money off your jersey, because it's a lot of people who are college stars that never make it to the league or never have a big career. So they make all this money off your jersey and off your likeness, and then you don't get to go to the league. You don't get to take care of your family. But these people that made $1 million off of you, you can't even get some of that. Come on, bro, that's not right.
Because they assume the payoff is, well, you know what? This is the waiting room for the league. You'll get your money when you get up there. But if you don't make it or if you get hurt, then
it's an interesting situation. And you look at LeBron James and the governor of California recently on HBO's The Shop, kind of signing off on it. And
LeBron is a great. Scoop B, Reg, Webstar, shout out to our sponsors. So Scoop, let me ask you a question.
You would not.
I was like, did he just say what?
Did he just mic that? You a DJ,
Yes. This is actually really fun, bro. This is good.
Yes, sir.
Word. So
what's your question?
Now my question is, Scoop, it's like, what's your prediction?
Oh Lord.
Early. I'm not gonna ask you no personal behind the scenes stuff. If you had to make a guess right now, who's gonna win the NBA championship? I know it's no way of telling that from this moment.
Nah, because the Twitter be attacking me, man.
Yeah. Okay. I went back. I read your comments and I'm like,
who do you? All right. Who's your top two favorites just to go to the finals this year? Give me one East Coast, one West Coast.
I mean, when you look at the Eastern Conference, I think it's interesting. I like Philadelphia's moves in the offseason, getting, even though they lost Jimmy Butler to Miami Heat. I do like the fact that they were able to retain Tobias Harris, a Long Island native.
Yeah.
But I do think that Al Horford adds something of great value to the
team. Experience, good head of the locker room,
and a voice of reason to Joel Embiid.
And because Joel Embiid, he's injury plagued, but
early in his career, he's all right now.
Oh, he is.
He's all right. He
had one solid year.
Two.
He been in the league for how many years? 4?
He was drafted in 2014 out of Kansas.
So he been in the league for like 6 years.
But he was out the first year. Remember, he was hurt, and then kind of just the Sixers went.
So he's good now. So there's no time restrictions on his time anymore.
He's all right now.
Oh, good. I'm not gonna debate with you. Listen, you know better anyway.
It's an open space for everybody to just share their opinion.
All right, so you know what? I don't want Twitter to attack you.
When you're done, I have a follow-up.
Right, but I like Milwaukee too.
Give me a top 3 from the East.
The top
Philly, Milwaukee.
Philly and Milwaukee.
And who else? Top 3.
Brooklyn.
So KD's not gonna play this year. Right. If he does, he come in the end. Kyrie never really plays a whole season.
Kyrie has to play like 2016 Kyrie in order for Brooklyn to be successful.
Kyrie hasn't played the whole season since I don't know if he ever played the whole season.
Kyrie's got a lot of pressure on him being home.
Yep.
Close to home, playing for the Brooklyn Nets, the team that the Nets, the team that he grew up watching in New Jersey. Timmy Idolize told me, that Jason Kidd, it was a pleasure to watch him play. And when you look at Kyrie and what he brings to the table, he's got to be a leader of that team. I mean, but they also have a bench that played efficiently.
I'm sorry, Scoop. I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm just hating on the Brooklyn.
Well, this is what I'll tell you about the New York Knicks, the original New York team. Is this? I think they could win 40 games this season to make it to the playoffs. I think
we can make it to the playoffs, but guess what? I like where we at because I know, when we had you know what team I loved?
What?
Mike Woodson was coaching us.
2013 when they went to the playoffs.
I think we won almost 60 games. We won like 58 games. We had like Rasheed Wallace and Kenyon Martin and Jason Kidd.
J.R. Smith.
Tyson Chandler. We had, yes. So I love that team. I was mad when Phil Jackson came in and got rid of Mike Woodson because that was a core that was really, really good. So now I was expecting for us to do really damage in there. Like, I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. So, one of my favorite years was, I want to say it was 99, 2000 when we was the 8th seed and we went to the championship. And it was either 88 or 89, but I kind of felt like we always going to win every year. This year, I know we're not going to win. Next year, I know we're not going to win. Go to the championship. I don't want my hopes up high.
Bobby Portis has gone on record and said he believes he could be the 6th man of the year. You look at R.J. Barrett,
100%.
definitely.
But listen, we're not going to win the championship. I know that. But we gave everybody 2-year contracts, which give us flexibility to get all the free agents or go out the free agents.
2020 is going to be a difficult situation to kind of in the free agency pool to get stuff. I have heard back in the early summer that guys like DeMar DeRozan have been talked about. DeMar DeRozan currently playing for the San Antonio Spurs.
DeMar DeRozan is going to be in the last legs of his career.
You think so?
How old is DeMar DeRozan right now, Scoop?
DeMar DeRozan's pretty young.
How old is he?
You got me checking Google as I'm stalling.
All right, so here's my thing. DeMar DeRozan, no disrespect to DeMar, I never met him. He's a great player. He's
30.
He's the mid-range king. He got hops out the gym. But in 2 or 3 more years, he's going to be 33. He could be, no. Absolutely
Kevin Durant is 31.
Kevin Durant and DeMar DeRozan is 2 different people.
I know. I just felt that I needed to say that. I just felt the need to say that.
You know what I'm saying? DeRozan was on Toronto.
Right.
And what was the coach name they had? Oh, man, what was the coach?
Dwayne Casey. Now the head coach of the Detroit Pistons.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But, excuse my language, them niggas choked every year.
I mean, you were going against a LeBron James-led team.
100%.
In Cleveland.
But I'm going to go on the record and say this, Scoop. If they would have had Kawhi Leonard against the LeBron team, LeBron would have been in trouble. Kawhi Leonard reminds me of, and you might, this might be disrespectful to you. Kawhi Leonard reminds me of Michael Jordan.
They've been saying that a lot.
Yo,
it's crazy. I was in Toronto for the Raptors championship. It was the energy was crazy.
He reminds me of Michael Jordan.
Why?
Let me tell you why. Here's the first reason. He don't have the swag as Michael Jordan. He can't walk like him. He don't have the finesse like him. He can never have his own sneaker.
He got his own sneaker. He got New Balance.
Nobody wearing that shit. Excuse me. I never seen nobody with a pair of Kawhis on. And if they had them on, I didn't know they was Kawhis. No disrespect. But as far as, I always say 2 things. He's like a Michael Jordan or a Scottie Pippen on steroids. All right. Michael Jordan locked everybody down. Michael Jordan had a killer instinct. Michael Jordan wanted that. I heard you know this when I think the coach was saying, let's go in there and steal one. And he's like, nah, let's go get both. That's Michael Jordan. Yeah. Michael Jordan would go in his jersey and talk shit to you and take it. That's the only thing he don't got Mike got. He ain't taking nobody's heart. He take their heart from his play. Michael Jordan took your heart before you got on the court. But bro, he don't make mistakes. Like, he makes very little mistakes. He never takes a play off. He plays defense. He rebounds. He has big hands. He's consistent with everything he does. He's like Michael Jordan. Or if you don't want to give him that, he's Scottie Pippen on steroids. If there was no Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen would have been the best player in the league. Who was better than Scottie Pippen besides Michael Jordan? Name somebody.
No, agreed.
Penny. Scottie. My boys in the background talking about Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway is no Scottie Pippen. He didn't play no defense. But he was a playmaker. He made good passes. He was great. But he was injury prone. Scottie Pippen never was injured. Scottie Pippen had his own shoe too. And we bought it. Did you have the Scottie Pippens? Because I damn sure had
them. The ones with the air on the side?
Yes, right. I had them.
Man, they've been retroing the hell out of them.
Come on. But Kawhi, look what Michael Jordan did for Chicago, the city. You know anybody who was a Chicago Bulls fan before Michael Jordan got there? Because I don't.
Only my stepfather. He's from the west side of Chicago. Other than that,
so who played on Chicago before Mike was there?
Well, I'm gonna tell you a funny story. So,
all right, I'm listening.
When I was a kid, I had my first break with the Nets, and the Utah Jazz came to town, and that was a team that had John Stockton and Karl Malone and Jeff Hornacek and more. So your who. So Jerry Sloan was the head coach of.
One of the greatest coaches that ever walked the planet.
From the state of Illinois.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, my stepfather's with me, and he was like so hyped because he was like the Bulls' first pick. I think maybe in the expansion draft, I think it was. And he was so hyped to talk to him.
Your dad got drafted by the Bulls?
Yeah, Jerry Sloan was the original Chicago Bull.
Wow.
And so that conversation was like, whoa, for him growing up literally minutes away from the Chicago Stadium, because they moved to United Center.
Yeah. In
the 90s when Mike was here. They call it the house that Mike built. And
he definitely built it.
And but yeah, it's so to answer your question, mainstream, nobody was checking for the Bulls like that before Michael, in my opinion. I mean, they had guys like Orlando Woolridge. They had guys like Reggie Theus played for Mike.
Yeah.
But
Reggie Theus was just a pretty boy. He was nice though.
That Reggie Theus, I heard this story.
No, go ahead.
Dated Juanita Jordan, and the rumor that I heard was this: an old tale in Chicago was that Reggie was dating Juanita Jordan, Michael Jordan's ex-wife, and the story.
I know Juanita. I don't know her, but I know she is.
As the story goes, Michael maybe started dating Juanita and married her after, and then when Michael came to Chicago, I think Reggie was eventually traded. And so how the story went was, whenever Michael would go toe-to-toe with Reggie Theus, Michael would destroy Reggie Theus because he had his girl.
Jesus.
But that's Mike, though.
Yeah.
Mike would take your heart, bro, before you stepped on the court. Nobody else did that before. Maybe Shaq, but I guess before centers played with Shaq, they were scared Shaq gonna elbow me today. He gonna dunk on me. The backboard might fall. It might get shattered. But they used to always say Kobe was the closest thing to Mike. And as far as skill wise, I think Kobe is. But just Kawhi Leonard is just different, bro. He be locking. He'll lock you down. He locks the best down. Nobody has good games against him. I never seen nobody bust Kawhi in the ass. Just bust his ass. You ever seen somebody bust his ass?
I mean, the Cavaliers the Miami Heat as a team beating a Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan led San Antonio Spurs.
Kawhi Leonard was 17 or some shit. I just made that up. He was young though.
He was young. He was young in the face. But no, I mean, as far as
right, no,
I can't think of anything.
Niggas don't go. Giannis, LeBron, all the great. He gets on you. He guards the best player on the court, and he come back. He hits clutch shots. He makes his free throws. He's efficient from short range, from 3-pointer. He don't take bad shots. Yeah. That was Mike.
Agreed.
He just don't got the swag as Mike. He ain't got the swag as Mike. Kawhi Leonard, he just don't have the swag.
I feel like they're doing this podcast. Reg has been forced to pay attention to
No,
basketball.
I feel like I have to. My basketball knowledge is at a 3 at the best, right? Uh-huh. So I've seen Kawhi play mostly because we were in Toronto. Jesus, we keep knocking stuff over.
That means the rum is that good.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Just so y'all know.
No, we're not gonna plug them because
Scoop B, Reg, Webstar. Shout out to Scoop B for sponsoring the rum. We ain't gonna say this.
We only shout out people that pay us.
Anything is possible.
That's right.
So we were out in Toronto for, what's that called again? And you speak to anybody out there, even people that didn't play basketball, had a new, like Drake was the only thing that gave him any type of pride. Now they just on cloud nine. They were basically offering him apartments. He could eat free at restaurants. He's like Jesus out there.
He's God out there. Yeah. Why wouldn't you be? Ain't nothing ever come out of Toronto. Only thing that ever come out of Toronto was Drake.
He's worth
no sports.
Yo.
Nope. Hockey. Okay. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal. All of Toronto. I'm a hockey. Like my dad used to make me watch hockey. I'm a Ranger fan. I was a Ranger fan since '94 when they won their land championship. But
I've never watched.
Toronto is a hockey town. So they treat him like he's God out there.
You know, Drake is worth $600 million to Toronto's local economy.
That's crazy.
LeBron was worth a lot to Cleveland, Ohio's economy.
That's why when he left, people was losing jobs and everything. People were upset. That's why he went back. I don't think he knew how important he was when he left.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew.
Yeah.
There's no way because LeBron is for the people.
I'm gonna segue into something crazy and let me know if we're going anywhere uncomfortable. But I feel like we had drinks. We're gonna.
It's cool.
So we were talking about different aspects of hip hop, and I just recently had a conversation with a couple people because everybody's been talking about some of the recent news that's been going on.
Yes.
So new hip hop is a different animal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So of course everybody's talking about the whole Tekashi situation and.
Snitch.
Yeah.
Say what? Tekashi the snitch.
Do you guys have any thoughts on the series of events that led up to the whole court trial? And do you think post-trial he's going to be able to maintain a career?
I'm sorry, Scoop. You might want to chime in, but I got something I want to say.
Feel free.
Cause I have some shit I want to say. So you want to say how you feel before I go?
I don't have an opinion.
Tekashi the snitch. Mm-hmm. So here's my views on snitching.
Yeah.
If you sell drugs, if you are out here gang banging and you're murdering people and you have to live by the G code. So the G code, I'm not going to get into it too much, but the G code is, you gotta, it's pretty much if you dish it out, you gotta take it. So I'm not going to be out here murdering people, selling drugs, poisoning the community, doing all this wrong shit and then snitching on people. No. Now, if I'm a doctor, or if I work for transit or for the post office and I go to work every day and I come home and I'm not in the streets, if somebody do something to me, I'm going to call the police.
That's telling.
Because I'm a normal civilian. Mm-hmm. Tekashi was out here putting hits on people. He was selling drugs. He's running around with the Bloods. He's making a shitload of money. And then he told. Now here's the catch-22 about him. He was doing all this shit with these guys. These guys kidnapped him. They beat him up. They fucked. Excuse my language. Can I say fuck on this podcast?
Feel free.
They fucked his baby moms. Then they fucked his baby mom some more. Then he fucked his baby moms again.
Wow.
So you got to look at it from his perspective. Tekashi is not really a street guy, but the perception of being in the streets
permeated
every 100%.
He got sucked into the life.
So it's like me, Scoop. If I come into your world right now, I'm not a fucking NBA analyst. I don't have the relationships you got. But if I got one story and it gets big and I act like I am, I gotta fucking go with the punches. And then when I get exposed that I don't really know these people, I'm looking like a dickhead. Yeah. That's what he did. He was perpetrating something that he wasn't about. Mm-hmm. And when it hit the fan, he had to tell. So when he comes home, he's going to sell records. You know why? Because...
the free publicity?
No. Fuck the free publicity. Most of the people that bought Tekashi 6ix9ine records weren't from the hood. It was
suburban white kids.
Suburban white kids bought his music. Now, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
You think suburban white kids give a fuck if he snitched on some blood gang niggas that was killing people and shooting? They don't. They think they deserve to go to jail anyway. No. They rooting for him. He's gonna come home. He's gonna do music. He's gonna sell records.
But you don't think because the culture basically, everyone's pretty much ostracizing him from the culture. You don't think that's gonna have a negative impact on his image? Can I ask you a question?
Who are the 5 biggest artists that you? I'm gonna name 5 artists.
Go ahead.
who I think is the biggest in America.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Taylor Swift.
Agreed.
I'm gonna say Beyonce. I'm gonna say Kanye West. I'm gonna say Beyonce, and we could just say Drake.
Yeah.
Drake.
So out of those 5 people I named, do you think who think they make most of their money off of? You think they make most of their money off of
suburban
people
kids
who sell drugs in the fucking projects, or white kids that's going to college and
agreed.
Beyonce tickets is $500 and $600.
Yeah.
If you live in St. Nick projects in Harlem, you can't afford to go to her concert. But if you live in the Hamptons, you can afford to take the kids in the Hamptons don't give a fuck if you snitched on a kid. I don't care if you telling him because he kidnaps you. He fucks your baby moms.
Bro,
we don't care.
I've seen kids from suburbia who think they from the block. They're like, nah, like, they think they're from there. They idolize that lifestyle.
Thank you from the block and being from the block.
Definitely.
Everybody has a perception about themselves. So I might act like me. I could walk out this whole way and act like I'm the biggest gangster in the world. But I'm not a gangster. Everybody's a gangster until a gangster walks in the room. So people have a mentality about them that people always going to do was, me and Scoop are going to always connect because we both love sports. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
our connection. It's sports. Even though we friends, we talk sports all day and all night. But if I don't know no sports and we like, all right, cool, you my friend, but okay. But my whole thing is that's the same thing with him. More people who support his music, they relate to the actions he do. The only people talking shit about him is people who don't really...
Who in the culture, but the culture... Well, okay.
The culture has shifted.
Yes.
But what does it say for the culture where authenticity doesn't matter anymore?
Authenticity been gone. If you go back to the early 2000s, late 90s, you had like Mary J. Blige, you had Mariah Carey, you had Usher, you had Diddy, you had Jay-Z, you had DMX, you had Ja Rule. These are distinctive artists who had talent, who the world knew. Nowadays, the person who has a #1 record in the country, and little this one, and little that one, and this one, you don't even know who they are. They could walk in here right now. You wouldn't know who they are.
Do you think that in 2020 a lot is going to change as far as artists? Do you think it's going to kind of go back to the way it was?
Absolutely not.
Tell me more.
Why would it? What's going to change? The internet changed everything. The access to music, the way... Here's a good thing about the internet. One of the bad things about the internet is, before I say the good thing, is it's not about talent no more. Before you had to be talented to win. Look at people I name: Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Mary J. Blige. These some of the talented people that ever
icons.
It's no more icons no more. Now the internet gave the person with the smallest voice in the world and the least talent the ability to be the biggest star in the world, which creates more jobs, make more people money, and gives more people a platform to make money. So the game is saturated, but it gave the people opportunity to make money. So it's like a gift and a curse. I'm not going to get the quality of music I got in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, but we're going to be able to make some money together.
So what do you think then, flashback, because we were just down in Atlanta for Revolt Summit.
Yes.
Shout out to everybody over at Revolt.
Yeah.
When,
In Atlanta?
In
Atlanta?
Yeah.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So we went down, we checked out, time's moving different. Close to the end, like we're in the last quarter of the year, right? It's going to fly. So
30.
Coach K from Quality Control said you need $200,000 to break a record, realistically.
Yeah, you do. Actually, a little more than that. He needs 200 to break a record because his artist is huge. If somebody starting from scratch and don't got nothing, you need about 400.
What does that 400 go towards?
Radio, videos, marketing your record, social media marketing, and just greeting a few palms that you're gonna need degrees to make things work.
So that's like, because I think they were saying it wasn't as necessarily payola, but you basically have to compensate DJs.
We friends here.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna. That's G code. You don't snitch. Like,
of course.
I'm not gonna tell you what I gotta pay for. I'm not even gonna say it right now. But it's like, if it was payola, why would they say that to the media? Why would they tell people the formula to what they're doing if it's illegal when they want to keep doing it? I want to keep being able to spend $200,000 is nothing to Coach K. It's nothing to him.
Especially if you're gonna break an artist who's gonna make you millions.
Migos, Cardi B managing him, all these artists is his artists. So why would he tell you if he's doing something illegal? But that's how much it costs. $200K if you're on his level. If you're not on his level, you saw him from scratch, between $400 and $600K for sure.
And there's no guarantees.
No, because you might spend $200K on it, it might not work.
You heard about that? That I think he was a rapper from Philly, and it's funny, but it's not funny. And he basically, I'm just saying, it's funny, but like your heart goes out to him because it's fucking stupid. But he basically defrauded his job of $5 million trying to basically blow up as a rapper.
If it took you $5 million and you still ain't blow up, man, you deserve to go under the jail.
But I'm like, you spent $5 million trying to be a million? Like, what are you doing? What's the plan?
The game is to be sold and
not to be told. That's what it is.
He defrauded his company $5 million.
Yeah.
Help me understand something.
Yes.
I remember like 2000s where it was cool to rap about McDonald's, rap about KFC, rap about Nike.
Mm-hmm.
What's the craziest story that you've ever heard of a rapper rapping about something in some of their songs and it paid off?
Man, let me think. I know this young kid. He's actually from Harlem. I'm not gonna say his name, but back in 2006, he was running around doing parties and stuff like that. And he ended up making a record called Chicken Noodle Soup, and he ended up getting a sponsorship from Campbell's. The craziest story I ever heard of my life.
You ain't sugar.
I caught that. I was like, wait.
So tell me about that. Like, who called you? How did that happen?
Well, I wasn't thinking of it, but if you say Chicken Noodle Soup in the store on the side, it's like, you got Progresso, you got Campbell's, you got Coca-Cola, you got all these companies. You got the hard. You know what? One of my homegirls is one of the top executives for Nike. I ain't gonna say her name, but I love her. She told me the hardest thing to market to is kids, because you don't know how to market to them. They always talk about something different. Finicky. So what these big companies do is they wait and see what's gonna resonate. They say, "Oh, Tekashi's popping to the kids, so we're gonna get Tekashi to drink Sprite." Or we're going to get, Webstar and Young beat the Chicken Noodle Soup. We're going to get them to eat our soup in the video. So whatever's popping to the kids, these sponsorships go after them. So anybody can pretty much do that. But yeah, I don't really know the answer to that question. Like, I got some sponsorship dollars from like soup companies and soda companies. But, anything is possible if you pop off. But the hard thing about it is you never know what's going to pop off and what's not going to pop off. How's your drink? Is your drink good over there?
Let's reset. Scoopy and Reg.
That's
in
right.
Studio at Equal Space in Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to the sponsors. Catalyst Case, talking with DJ Webstar.
Yes.
About everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally.
We've been talking
mostly
about
both.
Yeah.
Mostly what?
Mostly basketball.
Yeah. No, we've been talking sports and music for the most part.
Yeah. Sports and music. Jim Jones.
Yeah.
What's missing from his portfolio?
What's missing from Jim Jones' portfolio? Jim Jones never had one of those big national records. Like,
I was just thinking.
Ballin' was a national record, so to speak, but it was like more of an urban national record. I think what's missing, I would love to see Jim Jones do you know who got one of those? Like Method Man and Jim Jones are similar, to me, because they both come from crews. They both stood out. They both had good careers and all that. Method Man had a record with Mary J. Blige called You All I Need to Get By.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking
that record went everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I think Jim Jones is missing that big R&B pop. Maybe not pop, because it might hurt the integrity of his brand being what his image is, but he's making that big Rihanna, Beyonce, or Mary J. Blige type record that just gonna resonate with everybody.
I feel like if he hooked up with I was just saying something like this to someone the other day. I feel like certain acts, there's a way I think to keep the authenticity to like, you know, what you represent, stay Harlem, but still put something out that has that crossover appeal. Big Sean did I forget that Sean with what was that guy's name? Calvin something. It was like a techno record that did really well on like, you know, overseas, introduce him to another audience. Mm-hmm. If he did something with like, you know, Janae Aiko or like someone like that, I think it would do wonders for him.
Is Kanye,
I'm listening,
reinventing himself, and is he going to be successful?
You never know.
Gospel, I think he's going to kill it.
You never know with Kanye. Kanye's different. Kanye is like you never know with him. Kanye's a genius, but geniuses make a lot of mistakes. So it's just like I can't answer that question. I don't know.
I've out of curiosity, I looked up some like Christian blogs and so on and so forth. The fact that he's saying turning to Jesus like basically helped him with his mental health and all this other stuff, they love it. Like he's going to make a killing.
You just never know with Kanye. Kanye is so.
The Passion of Christ made Mel Gibson $1 billion. We do a part 2.
Listen, we're gonna do a part 2.
I want to come back, man.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like we got a lot of things that
I want to show you the studio. About.
But listen, I want to bring somebody back with me, man.
Who you want to bring? Joe Budden?
We could. I'll call Joe. Rich Dollars is big on hip hop and sports. Maybe Tiana Taylor. Maybe Bianca. Maybe let's just brainstorm. And I got a bunch of people. You know who will be dope? Who would love to come up here? Justin Combs and Christian Combs, Diddy's sons.
Yeah.
But
they know a lot about hip hop. They're very knowledgeable for the young kids.
From the beginning to now.
Yes, and they was there. They was with Biggie in the studio. They was with Mary. They was there for these.
I can't imagine growing up. I listened to King Combs and Tiana Taylor track, and
I love
for
that
a second, I swear it was Diddy.
He looked like him.
Yeah,
he looks just like him.
And I love how it has that like that 90s
that
like
90s
vibe.
feel. Yeah.
All right, Scoopy and Reg, DJ Webstar.
Yes.
We promise, even though we have to take a commercial break, we're really getting off, but we promise that we will pause. We will make sure that we do a part 2 of this because
yes.
I think that
this was really dope.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we out.
All right. Yo, thank you for having me, man. Have a good night, everybody.
Later. Later. Later.